All right, we're going to talk a little bit about how to choose the right social media platform for you in your book and your efforts. The thing is, if you're on the wrong social media platform like we talked about, you can just be spending a lot of time wasting time. And because of the limited resources that we talked about in the last video, you want to make sure that you're really maximizing your results by being on the right platform. So which one is the right platform for you? This is probably one of the questions I get asked the most often is, what's the best social media platform to be on, or do I need to be on all the social media platforms? The good news is you don't. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to be on all of them. The tricky part of the answer is that there isn't one right social media platform that's going to be perfect for everybody. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to figure out which one is the best fit for you. You need to find where there's a meeting of three things. The social media platform that's the best one for you is going to be where your audience hangs out, where your audience already is, where you feel comfortable and enjoy being, and where your content is a good fit for the culture of that social media platform. So what does that mean exactly? Well, first of all, your audience. Demographics like age, gender, income level, all of these kinds of things play into which social media platform you're most likely to use. You'll see in the notes below here in the dojo that there is a link to the latest Pew Research Institute updates about where people are hanging out, what social media platforms they're on based on those demographics. So that can be a good place to start. And I'll give you some other tips as we go along too about figuring out where people are at on social media. One of the best things to do is to look for other authors who are in the same genre and who are very successful and see where they have the biggest and most responsive social media presence, because that's going to be a good clue that it might be a good fit for you as well. You also want to look at how they use social media. They might be on Facebook, but are they on Facebook doing what it is that you need them to do? Or they might be on LinkedIn, but are they on LinkedIn looking for books like what you write? So think about not just the demographics of your audience and whether or not they're on a particular platform, period, but are they on there doing what you're on there to do? What are their topics of interest? What gets them excited? What are they going to be searching for and looking for? And see if those topics are represented on the social media platform that you're looking at. And then presentation preferences. Do your audience prefer pictures, videos, text? What do they really like and engage with? And you're just going to know this by asking, by looking for people who are in your audience already participating in that kind of stuff online, and then just by testing and trying out different things. That second piece of the puzzle is your preference. Where do you already have connections? Where do you already have a social media following? That could be a really great place to start. The other thing is, what types of content do you like to create? If you really enjoy videos, you might have a great time on YouTube. If you love to take pictures, then Pinterest or Instagram is going to be a good fit. So what things are you most excited about creating content-wise? Do you mostly write blogs or podcasts? All of that's going to impact where your strongest suit is on social media. And then how much do you already know? Now, obviously, this is part of the reason that you're in the dojo to begin with, is so that you can learn about all the different social media platforms. But if there's one that you don't really know about and you're thinking, oh, maybe Pinterest is a really good idea for me, before you jump in, make sure you take some time to watch the modules about Pinterest, get comfortable with the platform, learn your way around so that you can feel comfortable interacting there. And then where do you just enjoy being and spending time? The last thing is your content. Does it fit the culture? We've touched on this a little bit already, but this is basically talking about on LinkedIn, people are not going there to look for erotica. LinkedIn is a very professional business site. On Facebook, they don't really want to be bored with the details of home inspections or the nitty-gritty of various different business things that they may do. That's why they're on Facebook, is to kind of shut down from work and be able to think about fun stuff and connecting with your family. So does your content and what you're trying to talk about fit the culture of the space that you're in? Does it fit the medium, again, as far as whether it's images or text or videos? Now, images and videos are things that you can use on just about every platform. I do want to make sure I throw that out there. Just because you're on Twitter doesn't mean you don't use pictures. But if you're on Instagram, you're only going to be using pictures. That's all Instagram is. So it does change a little bit. And if it's not only at the right place, but the right time to the right people. So like I said, it's really finding that good match where your audience is showing up there to hang out and talk about things you want to talk about too. When you find that perfect mix of where your audience is hanging out, you feel comfortable there, and your content is a good fit, that's your sweet spot. That's where you're going to have the most success. Now, again, if you're confused about this and you don't know where that space is at all, a good thing to do is make a list of your top 10 authors that are in your space who write books that are kind of similar to yours or would have the same audience you would have. Go to their website, look at all their social media profiles, and look at not only where they have the biggest following, but where do they get the most interaction and conversation, what does that look like, and you'll get some ideas on how to shape your social media as well. And this is going to be a great place for you to start connecting with some of your first fans and followers by connecting with their fans and followers. So that's kind of your homework for this section of it. Your first thing that you need to do is create that list of those top 10 authors and really analyze what they're doing. And that may help you figure out what social media platform you should be hanging out on. Here are a couple other tips that are really important. Number one is pick one, maybe two to start. You don't want to overwhelm yourself by jumping on 3 or 4, 5 or 6 platforms. Each one takes time to learn, has its own language and vernacular, has things that work better than others, and it's going to take an investment of time and energy on your part. So if you overwhelm yourself at the beginning, you're going to quit and you're not going to see those results because the biggest results in social media is found through consistency over time. So pick the one place that you really want to hang out and build a following and build connections, and once that feels like second nature, once you don't have to think about it anymore, once you don't struggle to remember to post or check your messages, that's a great indication to you that you're ready to add on another social media platform if you want to continue growing. The second thing is if you don't know, ask. Now, of course, this applies to this course that you can go into the Facebook group and ask questions anytime, that you can log on to live calls and ask questions in that venue as well. Don't be afraid to ask, but also don't be afraid to ask even on the social media platform itself. Ask questions about what people most like to see, what their favorite part about that social media platform is, who their favorite people to follow are, and you're going to glean lots of great insight about how to do social media better. And if you don't know, don't worry. It's okay if you ask and you don't get an answer or get an unclear answer. Sometimes the answer is just test, try things, experiment. It's all right to play around with this and let your creativity go wild a little bit. As long as you're not posting something offensive, usually the worst thing that's going to happen is nobody's going to see it. And then you can kind of figure out how to improve and what to do better the next time. And the last thing is get started somewhere. A lot of times we can get really caught up in trying to find the perfect answer to this question. And the truth of the matter is there are probably several social media platforms. Just about any of the top 6 you're going to be able to get results on if you apply consistent principles over time. So get started somewhere, be consistent, get on there every day, and learn the language, and join the natives on that platform. So that's a little bit about picking your strategy. If you look down below, I write a little more detail about some things to look for as far as whether or not it's a good fit for you, those Pew demographic research, and of course your homework to create a list of 10 authors who have a similar audience to you so you can check out what they're doing. And next we're going to talk a little bit more about creating your strategy.